a lot of passenger groups and indeed airlines are going to be looking to Rishi Sunak for some sort of relief. Are they going to get it? There are some leaks.
They almost certainly are, yes. We've seen some very interesting leaks about air passenger duty and what that might be. As we just heard in that report, Northern Ireland aviation, as worldwide, has been very badly hit by the pandemic. What I'm hearing is that air passenger duty, currently £13 each way on a flight between, say, London or Manchester and Belfast, so adding £26 to a round trip, that could be scrapped entirely. And you could also find improvements for people who are flying to the Highlands and Islands as well of Scotland, which would be a great advantage. However, how the Chancellor can square this with COP26, with the Green Agenda, saying we're going to make it cheaper to fly in the UK, everybody, is quite tricky. He will, however, increase air passenger duty for flights over 6,000 miles. There aren't that many, I've been checking. So Tokyo, Hong Kong, Bangkok from London, they all come in just under 6,000 miles. It's only places like Singapore, Kuala Lumpur and the non-stop services to Australia that would be affected by that. So it's saying we're going to be really green by penalising people who fly a very long way. Oh, but by the way, we're going to level up by cutting air passenger duty. Quite a mixed message.
Yeah, it is,
yes,
isn't it?
very much so. Also, I mean, so fully vaccinated travellers, let's clarify this, will now have access to cheaper lateral flow tests.
You told it beautifully, Kirsty, because exactly as you say, if you go to, for instance, a well-known high street chemist, I was looking at their prices this morning. So
what rhymes with loots?
That you would be...
You can say it, you know. This is
could
GBNews. We have no
You can say anything, quite frankly.
So we're talking about boots, yes?
We are. OK, so you can check this online. So a PCR test, which until 4 a.m. yesterday you had to have if you were coming back to England from anywhere and you were fully vaccinated, that was £80, but you can now get a PCR lateral flow test, £50. But there are many cheaper options. In fact, some so cheap that they're being sold for £1. But of course, you click through and you actually realise that's if you go to a trading estate in Slough 6 weeks from now and pick up your test personally. So that's just a lot. That's just a bait and switch is the technical term.
What about the checks? I mean, how? I mean, you've got.
I've got this because I desperately want to remind people: get your NHS Covid pass letter. You can get it free. Just go online and you can get that posted to you. And it's a piece of paper. There were dozens and dozens of people at the weekend at Luton Airport who missed their half-term holiday because they didn't have printed out proof. They didn't have it saved on their smartphones, and that something went wrong with the NHS app on Saturday morning. So people were just told, sorry, you can't prove that you're vaccinated. They won't let you into Spain or Italy or Greece or wherever. And they were just told.
So what was the
reaction?
reaction?
People warned that they must take an actual.
Normally, you just turn up with your phone and everybody's got everything digitally. But honestly, I've talked to so many people, both airport check-in staff, UK Border Force. They say, tell everybody to print out pieces of paper because that way, I mean,
don't rely on the apps.
Yeah, and border officials worldwide, I've noticed, are really, really pleased to see pieces of paper. They're not particularly pleased to see Simon's smartphone with a copy of something. Nothing personal.
Well, not very. So how easy are these things to get?
They're fantastically easy to get. You just go online, you have to do all the usual stuff, date of birth, NHS number, and then you should be able to, and it's different for England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, but you should be able, if you just search online for NHS Covid pass letter and the name of the UK nation you live in, then they will send it to you and even get a little translation in various languages. So a very useful thing to have to prove your vaccination status. And increasingly we're turning into a world of travellers where you're either jabbed or unjabbed, and if you're unjabbed, I'm afraid life is very, very tough.
And we're talking about people wanting to leave and come back. With the figures rising as they are at the moment here, is there a danger we're going to start appearing on some red lists in other countries? Exactly
right. We saw that with Morocco. Last week, they suddenly, midnight on Thursday, they suddenly came in with a flight ban. Now, that's only an outbound flight ban, so they don't want you flying over to Morocco. Flights are still going out. I've just checked. EasyJet has flights this morning from Luton and Manchester, to Luton and Manchester from Marrakesh, for instance. So you can get out, but they don't want anybody in. Slovakia has put a testing requirement on British arrivals. And I think we're going to see that increasingly. Countries which at the moment say jab or test will probably, for Brits, start saying jab and test. But it's not going to happen, my understanding is, until after the half-term, because, frankly, all these countries are desperate to get some decent revenue in before the chills of November.
And just very quickly, completely different, Concorde.
Oh, yeah, 18 years
I just
since the
honestly
last passenger flight.
couldn't believe it's 18 years.
I know.
Isn't that... I went on Concorde once and I had to ask you about this. I mean, isn't that... Can you believe it's that...
I went on Concorde.
I did.
You just dropped that in.
I did. I had the... Well, no, I had the joy of doing that with my father in the golf world. But anyway, it was incredible.
It was.
What is the future, though, of supersonic flight?
Great question. It's going to be a smaller plane, maximum 88 people. It's not going to start till 2029.
Mini Concorde?
Mini Concorde.
It doesn't look dissimilar, does it?
It looks very similar, but it's going to be slower and smaller. That's progress, everybody. But it's also not going to be incredibly noisy and drink fuel even faster than Simon's car.
Well.
I drive electric, just so you know. Well, while we're getting close, you are on every station, every hour of every day. A lot of people say, well,
when do you rest?
How did you get into this? I mean, what makes you a travel expert?
Well, only being very old and having started at Gatwick Airport frisking people when I was 18.
Started?
Yeah, I mean, it was a job, not a hobby.
Yeah.
And cleaning out planes for Freddie Laker, which will mean something to you and I.
I was on the SkyTrain. I went to in my gap year on a... Well, it'll mean nothing to you.
Anyway, if you thought, what a nice clean plane. That was me, yes.
Is that how it started for you? And then what happened?
Oh, then it went from bad to worse, and here I am now.
Oh, and we worked together. We were just working out 15 years ago first, was it?
Departure Lounge,
Yes, at your 50th. Right.
What?
Simon, it's always it's really good to have you in the studio.
Simon, it is great to see you after all
Thank you.
these years.
I take back everything. Well,
no, you won't. We go back too far.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Simon, thank you so much.
Great pleasure to see you.
Where are you going now? Are you going away?
I'm going to London King's Cross because it's the first day of passenger service of Lumo trains, no frills, EasyJet type trains going from London to Edinburgh.
And you're going to be on it?
I'm not, no.
Oh.
But it's sort of sold out, but I'm going to talk to the people who are going to be on it.
I love your passion for it all. You're wonderful.
Quickly get to King's Cross.
Simon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.